So now we're going to dig into the additional note a little bit more. Let's look at this one more time. This is upon entry changed. Here's my criteria, standard criteria. Anywhere within this path, but it has to be a note shortcut. It also has to be a particular document type. It has to be the note link doc type, and it has to be an LFE extension. So these are the only types of files that this workflow will start when changed. Okay, so after looking at this a little deeper, I did notice that this is much different. It searches for a different kind of document than the purchase note. So this is not a candidate for invoking a workflow. So let's look at this. One other difference is it pulls the note entry ID, which is a tool. It's useful because this field is populated in the LFE file, and what this entry ID is the note that the LFE file is a shortcut to. So now I can use that data to do find activities and the like. So I pull that. This is an important one. This is also an important one, similar to the note. I create an empty token, and then I run through every value in that multi-value field, and upon this conditional sequence I tell it to not include any note links. Just tell me what kind of document it is. Is it a requisition or is it a purchase order? And then this modifies that previous token. It strips out any blank spaces also. So I come out with, at the end of the day, I know what type of document it's associated with. Kind of a long course to get there, but it's actually the shortest path. Here's a bunch of pattern matching where I shorten the path. These are used. It's easier to explain these when they're being used. Here I use that note entry ID to find my note. So has the note already been labeled? If not, then each of these renames, one is for the RTF note file, the other one is for the LFE shortcut associated with it. If it hasn't been labeled, has not been labeled already, then I put this in front of it. If it has been labeled already, I omit it from the file name and then add it again, which is just a requirement. So let's look at this search. After it's been relabeled, then it does a search. And the search is going out, is finding all LFE shortcuts with the same link ID. It has to be a note link. It has to have this. In other words, it would be a blank, to see if there's another blank out there somewhere. And here's this entry path, but I've used this token in the token editor to omit this folder name, so it actually is looking at that PO or that requisition's parent folder. So the entry path, which is the parent folder, it's looking in there to see if there are any other LFE files that match already. And if not, if it equals 0, then it kicks this off. And similar to the note workflow, creates a blank entry, attaches a blank electronic RTF file to it, copies the metadata, assigns this metadata, and now this is for the actual RTF file, so it's going to clear out the link ID. It's going to put in whatever the pattern matching is, whether it's requisition, PO, or CO. CO is no longer in use, so it doesn't really matter. And then also it puts in the note, and it puts in the initiator's name, so we know who made the who created this new link or this new note. And it creates another entry, and this is what the new LFE is going to go to. Now again, this is all triggering off because it sees that it needs to create an additional blank note for the user to have. So here's the script. Again, briefly, this is the syntax you need to pay attention to if you want when you're gonna make a variable in the VB script using a token. You have to use this syntax, and it creates a file here, a blank text file, and then I take that blank text file and I use this this array text to include this, and I put in that entry ID, which is the magic which makes the shortcut, the LFE shortcut, work in the first place. So then this iterates 5 times and adds in that text to the text file, and then I rename the file on the server, notes, requisition number, entry ID number. So this is a unique identifier, so it can't ever have a duplicate at the same time. And this is really important. It changes it to an LFE file. So moving away from this, that's the magic there. This attaches that file from the server. It attaches this electronic document to the new link document. Copies metadata, fills in a whole bunch of stuff here. And well, actually no, it doesn't fill in. It clears out a bunch of stuff here. It's clearing out from the copy metadata activity. It links the LFE to the note, and here's a script which goes back in, very similar to the previous one. I have a couple of variables here. I use entry ID, I use the requisition number, and I go to this location and I delete that file. So it cleans up the server. Now here's another search which occurs similar to the other one, but we have this parenthesis in here, so it's looking for one that's been duplicated unnecessarily. Conditionally, as long as it's greater than 0. For everything that it finds, go find the note associated with that found LFE file, and as long as you find it, then because sometimes it's deleted, then delete that shortcut, the whole folder, and let's see here, delete the note, delete the note, and then delete the link. And that's the end of that. No input or outputs.